Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, My Asexual Life. It's a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell icon so you never miss an episode. I help asexuals with love, life, confidence, dating, relationships, self-help, self-care, and so much more through my own lived experience. So he sounds manipulative. That's when the penny dropped. I'm like, how can I love someone who's manipulative? So tonight I've been out, well, yesterday through until now. I got back just a short while ago. I've been out with a meetup group. And it's a meetup group in my city. It's not an asexual meetup group. It's a meetup group I've been to before, but there are lots of new people, some people I've never met before. And so I was talking to this person. I've only ever met this person one other time. This is a guy, and the guy I met before, he was actually at speed friending. Really nice person, but we didn't actually talk much at speed friending. It was really quick, and he liked another girl, so he was mostly talking to her. But tonight it was in a different environment. It was just in the pub where I've been before, and I got the opportunity to talk to him. We ended up talking about all sorts of different subjects, and then I said about the fact that I was getting over a breakup recently, and I was saying some stuff about that was been very difficult for me. And I was saying how I'm improving myself by, I've got Matthew Hussey's Love Life book that I was, I'm feeling like I didn't really want to come out, but I went out because when I'm going through Matthew Hussey's, who's a dating coach, he's got over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. When I was going through I've started going through his Love Life book. I'm actually watching the Happiness After Heartbreak series that goes with the book. It was one of the bonuses with the book if you bought it at a certain time. And I'm on video 3 at the moment, and they talk about the grief of heartache and heartbreak. And I said to the guy that I wasn't going to come out because I was feeling really bad and I was feeling down and upset and things like that. But in this video, this guy says you heal through being around people. Like, you might feel like you want to shut yourself off, just want to cry, don't want to have any contact with anyone, which is pretty much what I've been doing, like, in my room. I said, but, this guy said you got to go out, and the way to heal is being around people. So I said, that's why I've come out, even though I didn't really feel like coming out. And so I explained to him this, and I ended up telling this guy the things that had gone on in the relationship, just the main points of why I was upset, and the things that had gone on that this ex did or said, and basically it wasn't good. Like, and so what I was hurt by, basically, I picked out the main points. And when I told this guy who's impartial, right? He's not a friend of mine. I don't know him. Last time I met him, I told you I only met him once before at speed friending, and he didn't really talk to me that much. It was like 2 minutes, basically. And then he started talking to another girl, and he ended up in the end, I ended up moving because I thought he was disinterested in me. So, and he hit off with this other girl. So I thought I'd just move. But because this was a different environment, it wasn't speed friending, we ended up just talking together. So this guy has totally no bias towards me. He doesn't know me. He's totally impartial observer. And, he could have said absolutely anything to me or nothing to me. He could have just said to me, oh, I'm sorry for your loss, or I'm sorry to hear that. But he didn't. He listened to what I said, and he said to me, he sounds manipulative. And as soon as I heard him say that, it was like a switch flicked off on me. Like, the love feelings I had for him just switched off. I don't know if that's going to stay the case, but I was in shock. I'm like, how can I love a manipulator? That's horrible. And his words were so soothing. This guy, he said he's your ex. He's in the past. He's history now. You're okay now. You can find a better guy than him. And I just felt so relieved. I feel like happy tears right now, that because I didn't know if he was manipulative or not. There's some things that I was concerned might be manipulative behavior, right? But I don't want to think horribly about people. I don't like to think horribly about people. But as soon as the guy said he sounds manipulative, and that's an outsider's perspective who's non-biased towards me, doesn't know me, and I didn't even share everything. Obviously, I only shared a certain amount of stuff, the main things that I found upsetting and the main difficulties. And as soon as he said that he sounds manipulative, and he's like reassuring me that it's okay that I got away from him. Like, I'm glad you're away from this guy now. He was like, you're okay. He's your ex. He's in the past. He's history. You'll find someone else. It's okay. His just voice was so soothing for me, so reassuring, because I've been like thinking, is it my fault? And self-blaming, which obviously, if the guy was manipulative, that's what he would want me to think, because manipulators like people to think, the other person to think and believe it's their fault, not that they are the one to blame. But there is things that signs that he might have been manipulative. But I didn't want to believe that, because I just wanted to believe he was a nice guy. I don't like thinking bad of people, you know? And when he said this to me, I'm like, wow, I believe this guy, because this guy has no reason to lie to me. He's impartial. He doesn't know me. Like I said, it's not like a friend I've known for years that could be very biased towards me. And he was being serious, and the way he said it, the way he said it was like, it's okay now. He's history. He's in the past. You will find a better guy than that guy. And as soon as he said that, it was just like a release and a relief. It's like, how can I love someone who's a manipulator? I don't even want to see his face anymore. So I was like really upset before I went out, and I was kept thinking about this guy's ex's smiley face and how sweet and innocent he looked. And as soon as this guy said about him being a manipulator, my ex that is, it just like flicked a switch off me. So it went from like, I really love this guy, to like, God, how can I love him? How can I love someone who's a manipulator? I can't. It's impossible to love someone who's a manipulator. I mean, it's not impossible, because I guess I've had that in the past, but as soon as he said that, it like flicked a switch off on me. Like, the love switch just flicked off. So I'm not sure if it's going to stay flicked off, but it just flicked off just like that. I'm like, how can you love a manipulator? You just can't do it, because love and manipulation don't go together. They're not the same. And so while I've been sat in the like thinking, what is my fault in the relationship? Was I too much this? Was I too much that? Blah, 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 about myself. It wasn't my fault at all. It was actually that I was being manipulated. And the guy was like, it's okay now. He was talking to me like I'd been through some sort of abuse or something, manipulative abuse. And he was saying, it's okay now. Basically, like, you're safe now. And it was like a big revelation for me. I mean, there was signs of manipulation, some, but I just choose to ignore it, because no one's perfect. Some people do have some behaviors that are not good occasionally. But I told him a number of things, and the big things to me, and that's what he said. I didn't tell him, like, there could have been there's one other thing that I know is a manipulative tactic, and I did know it at the time, but I just let go, thinking, okay, no one's perfect, they got one manipulative trait, okay, like, they've done one thing that's not good, and just let it pass. But yeah, I don't like talking badly of people. I think that stems from childhood trauma, obviously, but which I need to work on. But I'm not going on dating sites anymore. I'm done with that for now. At least this guy was saying to me about Plenty of Fish. He's saying, "Oh, do you know you can live stream on Plenty of Fish? Because that might suit you, because you live stream and tell someone about your personality, what you're looking for." Nice. I was on there years ago, and they deleted my profile because I don't want sex. They took it off. Even though other asexuals said in their profile they don't want sex. And I said, but I don't want to go on there at the moment. He goes, yeah, but for future reference, it might be a good idea for you, because then you're good at live streaming. So then you can go on there and explain what you want. But I said, the trouble with dating sites, I said, all the 4 guys, every single guy from Facebook dating that I've dated in person, they've all been liars. All 4 of them. And I said, the problem with dating sites is a lot of the guys on there, they're just avoidant. They have avoidant personality type. You know, a lot of them are non-committal. They're just looking for hookups, and they're not good to be in a relationship with. They're toxic, you know? He actually agreed with me because he used to be on dating sites, he said, you know? And so, yeah, I just, like, was in shock a bit. Like, the guy said he sounds manipulative. And the way he was saying it is though he's really happy that I got away from that guy, that I'm not with the guy anymore, that I did actually end it with him. I was the one who officially ended it, you know, because sometimes when I'm talking, it's like he split up with me, but he kind of forced me to split up with him by his actions, by his behaviors, and his words and non-words. And so, but it was me that officially ended it. It was me that officially ended it. So I felt really good going out tonight after that. I felt like, wow, because I wasn't going to go out, you know, I was like, really, I've been in so much pain. And even before I went out, I dropped my laptop on my phone. So I've got a big blue bruise there. So I was typing on meetup.com saying, I'm going to be a bit late. Like even though I've hurt my muscles, I got back muscle pain, like muscle damage, I'm gonna still come tonight. And then as I said that and typed it into meetup.com, my laptop fell off the bed and it literally went into my foot. Now, most people would not go out, you know, with a injured back, my rib pain, my side pain that's all connected to my back pain, and dropping a laptop on your toe. Literally, this here, underneath here is like a blue lump, but I had to put ice pack on it and quickly get myself better within 20 minutes to go out, like, or less than 20 minutes. But I did it. I'm like, I say to God, like, what is it? Like, what are you doing to me? You're like trying my you know, he's trying, I believe for God's he's like, he's trying my patience. I'm like, what is it? You're not going to stop me. Because at the end of the day, most people in those kind of scenarios be stopping going out, but I'm determined. I am like a warrior. like a, I'm like Poeing Kung Fu Panda, Dragon Warrior. Um, you know, I am a warrior, and it's like, okay, I've injured my back, I've injured my foot, but I'm still going out because sometimes God tests you in the universe. It's like, do you really want to go out? Are you really serious? So, right, I'm going to make you have another injury now. And only if you're really serious will you go and fight and you go out there. And so I do. You know, it's not easy being me. Sometimes it's not easy having a chronic pain condition. It's not easy fighting for your life, but sometimes you've got damn well fight for your life, you know? And it's like, okay, so I've got back injury, which is linked to all this stuff. I'm in a lot of pain, but I've decided I need to go out because when I watched this series, like I said, the Happiness After Heartbreak series, this guy said, you don't, most people who've had trauma like this with the ex, they go, they just don't go off all the dating sites. They don't want a relationship. They shut themselves away, isolate themselves. And he said, actually, that's the worst thing you can do. You don't actually heal being on your own. You heal being around other people and gaining trust again with other people. And so that's why I did it. There's a little clip, I think, in a shorts video I did. You know, I took a clip of the course, like the series, and that's what he said. This is a professional guy. So I'm like, right, I've got to go out. I need to go out and be around people, even though I'm in pain. But when I dropped the laptop on my toe, honestly, it really hurt. I mean, it's come up as a blue lump. Blue, I'm talking about blue. Not even purple, but blue. But I did put an ice pack on. I did get it back. I took painkillers like I took ibuprofen and paracetamol for my back muscles and the toe, you know? So, but it was worth going out, you know? God's and the universe do test you sometimes. Like, how much do you want this? How much do you want to fight for your life? How much do you want to save your life? How much do you want to go out? I'm going to give you this extra injury. Are you going to still go out or not? You know, it's like testing me to see how strong I am. God and universe tests me. It's like, how much are you effing made of, Sandra? Come on. Have you got the guts to go out? Have you got the strength to do it? Come on, girl. So as a warrior, I went, you know, and I'm glad I did, because when this guy said he sounds manipulative, just a penny dropped. And I'm like, oh my God, have I been subject to manipulation? And because he wasn't able to manipulate me in the end, that's why he left my life, basically, because I wouldn't drop my stance for him in the end. You know, because I didn't really change behaviors. He knew everything. When I met him, I already told him about my anxiety. I told him about my fibromyalgia. I told him about my life. And I didn't really change. I was always honest with him. I was always giving them the same amount of attention as I gave him before. No, my behavior didn't change. His did. I wasn't lying. He was. I wasn't dishonest. He was. So at the end of the day, and he said some stuff that wasn't very nice and actions. Now, I wasn't like that with him. So yeah, and I know that he couldn't manipulate me on the time thing, like basically turn up whenever he felt like it to the calls, you know? And he was using my anxiety sometimes as an excuse for his bad behavior. I did notice that. So yeah. So just having the realization that my ex was actually manipulating me in some ways was just like, wow. Like, how can I love a manipulator? I can't, because I hate manipulators. I hate people like that. I can't stand them. So it's good I went out. God and the universe tested me to see if I really wanted to go out, and I went out. And if I hadn't gone out, then this guy wouldn't have told me that. And I'd still be loving my ex, and I'd still be thinking, oh, he's so nice. Oh, I must have done something wrong, blah, blah, blah. But it's not my fault at all. The realization, the penny dropped. I'm like, oh shit, I've been subject to manipulation, have I? I mean, the signs were there, some of them, but I just chose to ignore them because I know no one's perfect. So I kind of excuse that as the behavior for the behavior. But when I think about it, like when I think I told you on this channel, when he said to me, oh, like speak more, speak, don't speak so fast, which is changing part of my sparkly personality. But yet he was speeding videos up on YouTube to 1.5 times because he got bored with the slow talk. So that's like purposely trying to change my personality as well as trying to make me something that he's not even attracted to. So that's really bad. And saying he's better looking than me, which was horrible. I mean, why? I said to this guy, like, why would anyone say that to someone they love, like a girlfriend? Why would you speak like that about someone? Why would you say that about your partner? You just wouldn't. When I said about the time, I offered to change the time to a later time. He just blanket refused to move the time so he could be on time, like give him extra time. I said, fine, I'll move the time. He didn't want to know. It's like, no, that was reasonable. That was me being very reasonable. But it was like, no. So, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think I've been the subject to manipulation. Only it didn't work in the end with me because he couldn't get his own way about the time, which is basically why he was on the phone going, oh, you should have like changed on the time, but I didn't, because I cannot be in a relationship with someone who's disorganized, doesn't value my time, doesn't respect my time. Do you know what I mean? I can't do that. I can't be in this disorganized chaos. And so yeah, I'm like, wow, he tried to manipulate you. Is that what he did? That's the realization, and I'm like, it's not your fault at all, Sandra. You're a kind. Even one of the guys at the meetup who I do know, he said to me, so the guy who I don't know, I've only met him once, was the one who said that my ex is manipulative. So therefore, I do believe that's true because this guy's completely impartial. There is another guy there who I have known who's just, he was being a nice person by saying, like, he said, you've got such a lovely personality. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to be with you, which was really nice. He's more of a friend because I've known him over time. So, yeah. And even though the ex was horrible to me in the end, he did actually say, when I said to him, why do you love me? He goes, oh, because of your kind and caring nature and because you love me, meaning I loved him, which doesn't mean to say he loved me. But, so he's actually said to me that I have a kind and caring nature. So that means it's not my fault. So, the realization that it seems like I was subject to some manipulation and that I had a lucky escape by getting away from this guy to safety and to be okay again, to be me and to grow my confidence back and self-esteem, then Do you know what I mean? It's kind of weird. It's like flicked a switch in me from being like really upset and grieving and thinking, oh, it's my fault and I really LOVE the guy, to now thinking, how can I even love a manipulator? It's impossible. This is horrible. And now his face is fading. Now I don't even really want to see it. Now I don't think he's sweet and innocent at all anymore. And so, yeah, it's really weird. It's like flicked a switch in me, you know? So, yeah, I'm still not going to go around wishing him any harm because I'm not that type of person. I don't look to get revenge on someone. I'm not that type of person. And whether it's a gift or a curse, I'm able to see good in him and good in people that aren't good. I've always been able to see that, you know? I thought he was a good guy. Guess he had me fooled for some time. So yeah. Um, but there was a number of things, like being late for video calls and not caring about that thing, it's fine. No, saying he's better looking than me is absolutely horrible. I told him he wasn't in the end. I said, "You're not better looking than me." If he's better looking than me, he wouldn't take 5 minutes to choose a photograph to put on Instagram, or a lot longer, because he can't just take a photograph and upload it himself. If he was that good looking, he wouldn't even have to think twice about uploading a photograph of himself and making sure it's a perfect shot and angle. I just take photographs, and yeah, sometimes I delete a few if they look really crap, but I just like take my natural photographs and upload them. And I'm on this live stream not wearing makeup, just being me. If he's that good looking, he wouldn't even have to pose for a photograph. He'd just be like taking a photograph and like, yeah, I'm so good looking. I'll just upload it. All the women are after me. Do you know what I mean? If he was that good looking. So it's not true, is it? It's really not true. And if a guy has got to say that to his girlfriend, it actually means he's very insecure. Like, I don't go around saying, oh, I'm the best looking woman in the world. Like, I'm better looking than you. I don't go around saying that. Only insecure people go around telling people that they're better looking than someone else. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was really hurtful. I got really hurt by that. And I thought to myself, if I'd have known he was that type of guy before I started being in a relationship with him, if I'd have known that at the dating stage, I wouldn't have even bothered, because any guy who says I'm better looking than you is just a guy who's really up his own backside, basically, and just horrible guy. It's a horrible person who does that. I at the end of the day, I get tons of guys liking my photographs, and I definitely don't think he's better looking than me. Like, I think a lot of women wouldn't be attracted to him. I think, like, when I first got with him, I said, "You don't realize how good looking you are." But as soon as his personality started changing, I thought, "You're not that good looking any in terms of personality." And also, I know that he's not what a typical woman would go for anyway. He does look really young, so you know what I mean, unless he gets a really young girl to go with him, as well. But at the end of the day, I did say to him, "You're better looking than me," because I said, "I'm not in competition with you." Like, what type of guy competes with his girlfriend? And like if a guy has to say that, you know what I mean, it's clearly not true. Like, I don't have to worry about uploading photographs of myself. Like, I just upload loads of natural stuff because I'm naturally beautiful, in my opinion. But I don't think I'm better looking than everyone, or better looking. I didn't think I was better looking than him. I just said, "You're not better looking than me. I'm not in competition with you." But saying that to your girlfriend, like, what type of guy does that? you know? But yeah, with obviously the fighting thing is not good. Thinking it's fine to fight someone if you're right physically is not good either. So, but yeah, it seems I've been the subject to some sort of manipulation behavior by my ex, and I wasn't fully aware of it till this guy said it. And this guy's words were so soothing and comforting to me. And, him saying you're okay now. He's your ex. He's history. He's a past. You'll find a nicer guy than this guy. Just helped soothe me, help me realize that, like, potentially it was dangerous staying with that guy. And it's a good job that I'm out of that situation now and I'm safe. I'm not going on dating sites. I just don't want to be involved with the guy anymore for the foreseeable future. I'm not interested. I still want to talk to guys at social events. I still get attracted to Indian guys. I'll always be attracted to Indian guys. I think I still believe I have had a soulmate who's Indian in the past. And technically, I guess if this guy definitely isn't my soulmate, which clearly he isn't, I got mistaken about that, then it means my soulmate technically is still out there. And like in the series that I'm watching, Happiness After Heartbreak, the guy says in there, Matthew Hussey says, and this guy also says, one of the guys Matthew's talking to says, this, a soulmate doesn't leave your life. That person can't be your soulmate if they've left your life, because a soulmate won't leave your life. They'll stay and do the hard work with you to be in the relationship with you, and they'll want to make it work. So that guy can't have been my soulmate, because soulmates don't do that. And I always believed my soulmate would never, ever, ever lie to me, and this guy definitely lied. And obviously, lying is a really bad characteristic trait. Really, really bad. And so, yeah, not only could he lie to me, he lied to his best friend who'd known for years. Like, what person does that? It's not good. So, yeah, it's not great news, is it? Being told your ex is a manipulator and thinking you were sweet and innocent the majority of the time, and not wanting, thinking that I've done something wrong. But in the cold light of day, as soon as that guy said it, it like flicked a switch. I'm like, I can't love that guy anymore. How can I love my ex when if he's a manipulator, how can I love him? I can't love a manipulator. It's like, turns me really off, just turns me off. I'm like, what the F? Like, really? Oh my God. But even with people who are not good in some ways, they can still be good sometimes to be with, if you know what I mean, because they're not necessarily bad all the time. And I hate even talking bad. I've got this thing where I hate talking bad about people, even if they're not good people or not good towards me. I feel like I don't like saying bad of people. I don't like speaking ill of people. I don't like saying people are not good. But at the end of the day, if it's the truth, then I need to tell the truth, don't I? And like I said, I still don't wish that guy, I don't wish that guy to come to any harm, because I'm not that type of person. If I was, that would make me nearly as bad as him, and I'm not bad. Like, it's really weird. When I went to London, I went to Shrek Adventureland after the aquarium, and Shrek Adventure basically is a story, a Shrek story, a mini story that have actors and actresses. And this one guy in part of the story, he's acting in character, and he turns around and says to me, "You're evil, aren't you?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good." And the person behind said, "Oh, she took offense to that." So I can't even have anyone saying I'm a bad person, even when they're just playing a script, because I know that I'm not an evil person or bad person. I'm not bad person at all. It's really weird because one of the tarot readers I watch, I'm a Taurian, right? My star sign's Taurus. I had my birthday last week, and one of the tarot readers I watch, I didn't used to watch tarots, but I do in more recent times. And she said that a lot of Taurians are angels on Earth. And so that's really strange, but it possibly is true, because I'm very, very honest. And I do get told by people that I'm one of the most honest people they've ever met in their life, and one of the most honest people they've ever known and know of. And sometimes it's hard for me to think about, because some people believe in angels, like angels above, but sometimes I find it really hard to believe that, because I find it hard to know about that. Whereas if technically I was an angel on earth, that would be kind of why, because I'm like, oh, you are an angel. Maybe, I don't know if that's true, but I just thought it was nice to hear that, and it would make sense, as in I'm so honest, and I can't stand lying. But anyway, I do digress. But I was just a revelation. I'm like, well, if this guy was manipulating you, Sandra, and there's evidence, really, there's evidence that he was saying some stuff to persuade your mind to think a certain way, then it's true, don't you? He was manipulative, but you just didn't want to admit it because you want to think he's sweet and innocent, and you don't want to say bad of him. But at the end of the day, if this guy wasn't good to you, and he was hurting your feelings, and he deceived you and lied in the end and made you have a false hope, false sense of security and everything else he did. I didn't even tell the guy who said your ex is he sounds manipulative. I didn't even tell him all the stuff. I could have reeled off a load of more stuff, but I didn't. I only told him a few things, and he's like, it sounds manipulative. And so the realization that he was probably manipulating me, it's just like, how can you love someone like that? You just can't. And so when I really wanted to cling on to his memory and his face and all that, now I just see like black tears in it. It's almost like the universe is tearing his image in two and disintegrating it for me. It's like all the smiley and all the things that I felt great about him are just disintegrating. They're just going, especially when he didn't show any remorse. It was like everything was just like because of me. It was just no remorse there. Couldn't care less. Dismiss me in the end. So yeah, it's very insightful, isn't it? But now I'm feeling better in a way because I'm not feeling good that I was subject to manipulation, but I'm feeling good that it's not my fault and that this guy stranger I don't even know um seems so comforting that I got away from this ex and that I'm really better off without him and that I'm in safety now and I don't need to worry anymore because that's the history that's in my past. And so now I've just got to continue to help myself like I have been. He knows I'm helping myself. So he said, it sounds good what you're doing, trying to help yourself. It sounds like you help yourself a lot in life, which was a really nice compliment as well. You know, so he said it sounds like you help yourself a lot in life and, just continue to do that. So I don't know if the guy, what the ex ever felt about me, but I don't think that's really relevant. What's relevant is to know that he was doing manipulative stuff on me, that in the end clearly couldn't work on me, which is why he left my life. Well, he didn't fully leave he didn't fully leave straight away. He basically pushed me out and then I ended it officially. But yeah, so I think this has been really good. If I hadn't have gone out yesterday through till tonight, this morning, I should say, then I would never have spoke to this guy who would never have told me this thing, and I would still be there crying over this guy. I'm not saying I'm not going to cry at all because I still think there's some grief there. But I feel a whole lot better for knowing he was manipulating me in the sense that how can I even love someone like that? How can I even miss someone like that? It's good he's out of my life. It has changed my life because I've been going through a lot of trauma with this stuff. And there's a lot of triggers that have come up from my past, trauma triggers. But then if he's manipulative, that's probably why I've got trauma triggers, because it's brought up triggers from my past when I was in similar situations. I don't even like saying this about the guy. I feel bad saying it about him when it's like actually true. And so, you know what I mean? As far as I can tell. But I don't even like speaking bad. I don't like speaking bad of people. But I have had some people in my past that have been, for example, not good people, like narcissistic people I've had in my past, people who have been very neglectful. You know, but even those people, some of those people, I don't like saying bad about them, even though they're not good to me. I just got this thing where I don't like speaking badly of people. But at the end of the day, some people aren't always good. And it's like really weird, the realization that I was being subject to manipulation that probably didn't work it didn't work in the end with me. So, and I am strong and I will fully get over this guy. I mean, I just feel like a switch has flipped in me, which has made me now get over him a lot quicker, because it's like, well, if he was manipulating me, then it's good that I got away from him. And I was gonna say another woman's welcome to have him, but she's I don't think it'd be good for any woman to have him if he's like that, you know? It wouldn't be good for any woman. But it is weird that the last woman he loved, was lying and deceiving him, which she basically did to me in the end, you know? Some people don't learn, do they? They have some people who are not good to them, and instead of deciding to be good themselves, they choose the other path, the dark side. I won't go to the dark side. When I mean by the dark side, so I won't go to manipulation and doing bad things back and stuff like that, you know. I still wish that person the best of luck in life, you know. I can't be like them, or will not be like them, you know. But it's like, I'm really glad that I went out. I'm really glad that I told this guy, you know. I'm really glad that I was able to speak to this person, this impartial person who could look at the situation much more objectively and give me some proper feedback. And, he seemed genuinely like, he seemed genuine in what he said in his evaluation. And he also, he was telling me, so like, healthy relationships are based on like, communicating very, I'm like, yeah, the guy would shut down for like 2 hours. And I was like trying to talk to him. He wouldn't even talk to me. I said he was angry. He was angry at me for him being late for me. I'm like, that's just weird behavior. And like, he would just shut down and not speak to me basically for 2 hours. I was trying to do the talking, trying to save the relationship, you know? But, some people can do something called stonewalling, which is purposely like not talking to you. So it's a bit like punishing you, dismissing you, and you know what I mean? It's not good. So yeah. But anyway, like, I've clearly been subject to manipulation, it seems, and now I know the truth. I think it's going to be easier for me to move on than it would have been had I not had this guy listen to me and evaluate the situation accordingly and explain that I have been subject to manipulation. And so, like, I feel a sense of relief. I feel a sense of bewilderment a bit, like what went on, like, because obviously I did have some really nice times with this ex. There was times when it was good between us. The times when I thought he was really, because I did think he was really kind and caring, but then he completely changed his behavior and attitude towards me, and he wasn't even empathetic in the end. He went from seemingly being really empathetic and kind and caring to, like, I was talking about my past and being suicidal, for example, and he had no emotions whatsoever towards it. Now, if you love someone and someone says to that, oh God, in the past I was suicidal and I had really bad time, you'd automatically probably feel for that person going, oh, I'm really sorry you went through that. I'm glad you're here. You'd say something. You wouldn't be emotionless, or I certainly wouldn't be. So yeah, it's like really weird. And I remember in the beginning he said something like, "Oh, I know everything about you now." I'm like, "Well, you don't." Like, if only you don't know me. So, I just think it seems like I have been the subject of manipulation, and if he's a manipulator, then I am much better off without him, and whatever's gone on in his life to make him, or for him to be like that, is pretty sad, really. But hopefully he'll change maybe one day to not be that way. But, anyone who's a liar, you can never trust them ever again. Anyway, if the person thinks it's okay to lie, it's just really a non-starter, isn't it? But yeah, so I'm glad that I found out that the ex was like that, and it's nice that this guy's voice was so reassuring and soothing, like basically comforting, saying it's okay now, you're away from him, he's your ex, he's history. It's okay. You're gonna be okay. It's okay. You're away from him now. You know? Which was really nice and comforting, It's a bit like when you've had some sort of like abuse type, like emotional abuse type thing, and you've got to safety, and someone like feels like metaphorically, not really, metaphorically, someone like stroking your hair saying it's okay, you're gonna be okay. That's in the past now. That person can't hurt you anymore. They've gone. You're okay. You're here. You're okay. You're gonna be moving forward. You're gonna find a nice guy for you. You don't need someone like that in your life, So yeah. So that's really helped me, to stop all the love feelings that I was having for this guy. I'm not saying they're totally gone. I don't know. I just feel like a switch has just hugely flipped in my favor, and I'm still rebuilding my life, though. I still think this is a huge catalyst for change that's happening to me. I need to find out. Well, I know it's from past childhood trauma. That's why I keep basically attracting guys that are no good for me. It's hard to break those patterns and cycles, but I'm going to be trying as much as possible. And I obviously like not going on dating sites anymore, I think is a really big, huge step towards getting my life back on track. But it's weird for me because I'm used to being on them for 10 years. But I think it's absolutely essential to come off them and stay off them for the foreseeable future and just rebuild other parts of my life and focus on my career and my health and stuff. It's really important. You know, um, it's really weird when you find out you've been subject to manipulation. It's kind of like you do, if you look at it and analyze it deeply, I guess you do have mixed feelings. You have like, thank God I'm in safety, but probably a small part of you still just have some feelings. But it really turns me off when someone's like saying this your ex was manipulating you, basically. It's just like it's a turn off. It's a huge turn off from that person. You know what I mean? If you blame yourself and think it's your fault, then you kind of like still feel an admiration or love for that person. But if you realize that you were subject to manipulation and actually it's good you got away from that person, then it flips a whole switch over and it's like, wow. You want to thank your lucky stars that you're single again, that you weren't even in that situation for longer than you needed to be, and relieved that you now understand the truth and that you're going to be okay. Mm. I'm sorry he did that to me. I'm sorry he's like that. But there's nothing I can do about it other than recognize it is what it is and realize that, yeah, I do deserve much better. And maybe I've got to work on my self-blame more, as in don't blame myself, as in like I'm not as bad as I think I am or something. Like people like guys come along and it's actually their behavior and their attitude towards me that's not good. And they're trying to make me think that it's my fault when it's not. You know? So yeah, I think it's really important to notice the patterns that we get into. Like if we get into with people who are emotionally unavailable, emotionally abusive, mentally or abusive or neglectful, if we get into patterns of attracting the wrong types of people all the time, we have to obviously look at that ourselves and say, why are we doing that? What's gone on? So yeah, it is a shame that things have gone this way, but I'm so glad that I did have the courage to go out, even though I've been in a lot of pain. I'm so glad that I took the opportunity to go to the meetup and have this conversation with this guy. God and the universe was saying, do you really want to go? And I'm like, yes, even though you've now given me a foot injury along with my muscle injury, I still want to go out and I'm still going to go. You're not going to stop me. I do have a relate, I talk to God and I'm like, what are you doing to me? Like, what is this test? I just see it as a test. I'm like, you're testing me. You're absolutely testing me. But I am made of strong stuff. I am like a flaming lion. Luckily, of all the pain of all the years, it does cause me to be extra strong. No, I am a fighter. I am determined to succeed whatever I do. I'm very like, my priorities are very different to other people, like, the way I see things is very different, like, I like money, for example, but I'm not motivated by money. I'm motivated by a sense of responsibility and achievement in life. That's my prime motivators for life and what I do, and I just feel like I'm rebuilding my life at the moment. I feel this was meant to happen, even though it's shit. Yeah. And even though I found out that he was having some manipulative behavior, I'm gonna get through this and I'm gonna come out stronger because it is changing me. This whole thing is changing me for the better, I believe. This whole experience. I'm having to calm my sympathetic nervous system down. I'm having to like not be on dating sites anymore, not seek out a relationship. I'm having to take like steps back from doing that. I'm having to think, okay, now you can fill your life up with other stuff because you're not searching for a guy anymore. Does that mean to say you're completely not searching? No, it doesn't. I'm doing later today. Now I've got live training with the dating coach Matthew Hussey, which is how to find your person. But now, instead of dating, I'm actually putting time, energy, and effort into my career, my health, and also learning much more about relationships dynamics, healthy relationship dynamics. Although I'm not actively seeking anyone anymore, I'm learning more about healthy relationships. So in the future, way in the future, if I do start looking for a guy again or come across a guy again, I'm hopefully going to be in much more healthier headspace than now. For example, I'm going to understand more what a healthy guy looks like because clearly I'm getting it wrong in that respect. I'm thinking a guy's, like a nice, sweet, innocent, healthy, kind, caring for me, loving, giving, sharing. And then I'm literally finding out actually he's not who I thought he was. And clearly I'm not reading between the signs enough. I'm not taking in the red flags. I'm just ignoring them. So I need to actually work on that, and I have to practice getting to know guys or guys first, if you know what I mean. I need to practice getting to hear them and see them and the way they behave and act before ever getting into a relationship. So I have to change my behavior and the way I am a bit to get a better guy for me, I think. But at the moment, I don't want a guy. I just want to be by myself. I want to heal myself. I want to spend time with myself because obviously it is harder to trust people after you've had an experience like this. So it's important that I do go out and socialize and I do be me, and immediately I've got my spark back a lot in the sense I can just be myself again. So I'm really glad I went out. I'm really glad I socialized, even though I didn't feel like it. And if you're going through grief and heartbreak and heartache right now, I know you might not feel like going out. I know you might feel shit, which is what I did earlier, but please do push yourself to go out. Push yourself even if you're not happy. I wasn't happy. I was crying earlier. Loads I was crying. Absolutely loads. I was thinking about all like the good times I had with this guy and his smiley face and his clothes, and I kept picturing his face in front of me and thinking of all the love feelings I have for him. I love him so much, even though he's done what he's done. But now, because I know he was likely manipulating me at least some of the time, now I'm like thinking, how can I love a manipulator? Now I'm really turned off. Now I'm seeing like black destroy like the vision in front of me of him a lot more easily. It's like breaking all down, crashing it down. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like black lines being torn, like his image being torn a, you know, in my visualization of him. So it's weird. I had a dream the other day and I don't know what it was. It was like some guy out on the roof. I don't know if it was meant to be him or what. It's a really weird dream. But I'm going to sleep earlier at the moment, earlier for me. So I'm dreaming more because I usually don't go to bed for 4 a.m. But because I've got a lot of pain, I'm having to sleep more, because it's energy draining. And even though I went out with pain, I've still got pain. But it was good most of the time I was sat down, so I didn't have too much pain. But yeah, I can't believe how many guys lie. Every guy on Facebook dating's lied to me. Every one of them. And none of them, not one of them, appears to be sorry or remorseful for doing that to me. Like, how can you do that to someone? How can you lie to someone and think it's okay to do that? I'm shocked that these guys are not feeling shame for their behavior and their actions. I'm shocked that they're not feeling guilty. I'm shocked that they don't give a shit about the fact they lied and they clearly think that's okay behavior. I'm absolutely shocked. I mean, what would their parents say? What would that actual? Because a lot of these, they're from backgrounds where they usually like listen to their mothers, listen to their fathers. Like, do you think their mother and father would be thinking they're such a great son for behaving that way? Do you think they'd be proud that their son's like that? I don't think they would. I think they'd be like shocked and say we didn't bring him up to be that way. So I don't know why he's behaving that way. And the parents would probably be very remorseful over their son's behavior, I'm guessing, unless they like it themselves. So yeah, it's just shocking behavior, really. But I do know that my behavior didn't change really, and probably loved the guy more, but that's pretty much it. But you know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful, because if you're sat there blaming yourself for an ex leaving your life, but you realize yourself that you were victim to manipulation and that person actually wasn't really good for you, then I want to give you a great big hug now for finally realizing that and acknowledging that, if you've realized that about your ex too and acknowledged it. And we have to sit with that acknowledgement, that some people aren't good. They portray they're good, but they're not necessarily good. Their behavior at least isn't good. And so we have to thank our lucky stars that we got away when we did, and that we're able to finally see the light. I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Grab a copy of Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual on Amazon and Asexual Perspectives. Don't forget to get those books. I'll see you soon on the next video live stream. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.